Just more than 7 years ago, then Bishop Bruce Howe of the Diocese of Huron asked a former radio announcer to consider becoming a host on Life and Faith. And for 7 years, I've had the great pleasure of bringing you stories from throughout the diocese, and I intend to continue to do that, but we're recruiting some new blood, some new help, some people in different areas of the diocese so that we can bring you stories closer to home, bring you more stories from a variety of places around the Diocese of Huron. So it's with great pleasure that I welcome the Reverend Rob Henderson, who is joining us as a co-host on Life and Faith. And Rob, I guess our stories are somewhat parallel in that you started out in the wonderful world of radio, and we can get the obligatory joke over about that we both have faces for radio. But tell us a little bit about your broadcasting career.
Well, the broadcasting career started in the late 80s for me. It actually came out of a time when I was at the University of Windsor and I was studying communications. And I remember it was just happenstance that one night we were together with a group of friends in the student lounge one evening. And one of the guys I was with was working for the local, or the university radio station at the time. And at about 10 minutes to 11, he jumped out of his seat and was in a panic because he had to run down and read the sports on the radio at 11 o'clock, and he said to me, "Can you help?" And I said, "Sure, I wouldn't mind being on the radio. I'll give that a crack." So we went down, and 15 minutes later, I was doing my first radio report, and I just really fell in love with it and really enjoyed spending time in the studio and did a little bit more of that. So after university, I decided to enroll in the broadcasting course at Fanshawe College in London, so I did that for 2 years. And specifically into the radio broadcasting end of it, with a little journalism here and there, but did that, and then moved to Chatham, where I started in the early 90s at CKSY FM radio. Worked there as an announcer, and as you know, when you work in a small radio market, you do a little bit of everything, so there are a few things there. Moved to Leamington for a bit and worked at a radio station there, and then back to Chatham to one of the earliest radio stations in all of Canada, CFCO, which is a great heritage station there, and embarked onto some other things that brought me here, of course.
And that's always an interesting story. As being a former broadcaster myself and moving into ministry, people say, radio announcers going into ministry, what's that all about? I'm sure there's a story as to what brought you to a place to be an ordained minister in the Anglican Church of Canada. Yeah,
there is, and you know, I'd be lying if I said it just happened later, because I think it was something that was in the back of my mind for a number of years. And I grew up in the Anglican Church. My father was a priest many years ago, and so I was in it from an early age, and always felt somewhat of an inkling to look into ministry, and always felt a call. But as we've hear many people say, it sometimes takes a while for God to get your attention and to really get you to make the move. So. But it's funny, you know, when I hear you say you were talking to Bishop Bruce about it, it was one day at a synod that I had lunch with him while I was working at the radio station, and I was a synod delegate at my church from Holy Trinity in Chatham at the time. And I got chatting with him, and I was telling him that I was doing a radio show playing gospel music. It was called Gospel Greats, and I used to do it on Sunday mornings and play some of the old-time gospel favorites. And he looked at me and he said, "You know, a broadcasting experience does wonders for those that might be thinking about ministry. Have you ever thought of that?" And I remember just being really taken aback with that, and that was really a catalyst for me to reconsider this call. And so after some time with my minister at the time and a little discerning and some meetings, after a little while I decided that maybe now would be a good time, so I embarked on looking into what that would be, and went to seminary and went to Huron College, and left broadcasting behind to enter into ministry and parish ministry, which brought me to the parish of St. Paul's in Essex in Trinity Cottam, where I'm the rector there right now. Ironically or not, as I say, I put broadcasting behind until, of course, you and I got talking, and in a sense it's come full circle, so now an opportunity to kind of combine the two.
Certainly, I know that for me, some of the things learned in broadcasting has some very strong connections to ministry, the communication ability and things like that. Talk a little bit about how the two can really be connected.
Oh, very much so. I mean, especially when we understand ourselves to be communicators and understand ourselves to be kind of that bridge, certainly in church, between the holy and where we are here. And it's a wonderful gift, I think, to be able to have those skills, to be able to bring some of the things we need so that people can connect to God and connect to the sacred in their lives. And having that ability to not only write sermons, but deliver them in a way that broadcasting certainly gave me an opportunity to get better at, to read and to intercess and to be able to speak to people like that. So much of our liturgy that we have in the Anglican Church is so wonderful because it is an unfolding drama every Sunday, and it very much is an opportunity to express that to people and to have that training and that background to be able to do that, and then to pass that along to people and to teach them, as we've done recently at an intercessors workshop, to talk to people about what it is to use their voices and find those voices and be able to connect to people that way when they're intercessing or praying or doing anything within the course of a liturgy. So to be able to pass that on is a wonderful gift as well. So Bishop Bruce was right. The two can very much come together to do some wonderful things in the church, I think.
So now the opportunity to share some faith stories through broadcasting from around a portion of the Diocese of Huron. You're going to focus on Essex, Kent, Lambton areas.
Right.
I realize it's early and we haven't even got your feet wet yet, but some of the things you think, some of the opportunities you might see and how you can see your involvement in this show unfolding.
Well, being from Essex and my parish is in Essex right now, I've been able to have an opportunity to see some of the great ministries that are taking place in the deanery. It's a large deanery, and there's lots of different ministries going on there, from youth social justice workshops that are coming up to, I know, parishes that are in quite an agricultural hub, building gardens and feeding people, and I mean the list goes on and on. So the hope is to be able to bring some of those stories from Essex to our viewers so that they'll be able to enjoy that, and then to touch base, of course, with the people in Lambton, because again, there are some wonderful ministries taking place. And the good thing about all this is it's an opportunity not just for us to talk about what we're doing, but to give ideas and things to those that are watching and listening in, because the wonderful thing about being in this diocese is that we are connected and we do have opportunities to see what each else are doing as far as their ministry, and wouldn't it be wonderful for those watching to be able to say, hey, you know what, I can see ourselves doing that in our parish, or I can see myself doing a ministry like that, and to start to share those ideas with each other. And the TV show Life and Faith is going to give us an opportunity to do that. So my hope is that spreads and we'll be able to bring all of those different stories, and there are an abundance of them, to everyone, and to really share the good news of God and of Jesus in our midst throughout our diocese.
One thing I can tell you from experience, broadcasters love to tell stories, and clergy love to tell stories. So you've got two ex-broadcasters, now clergy, who love to tell stories. And so, Rob, we are very much looking forward to your input into Life and Faith, and I look forward to continuing on telling you the stories of the Anglican Diocese of Huron. For Life and Faith, with the Reverend Rob Henderson, this is Reverend Keith Nethery.
Thank you for watching today and being part of the Life and Faith family. Please join us again. And remember, you can always visit us on the web at lifeandfaith.ca. We do appreciate your support of local television programming. Have a wonderful week, and we look forward to seeing you again. Bye for now.